All right. It looks like about 2 years ago, you began posting to YouTube for your short political commentary segments called What the Hell Just Happened. And we'll be sure to include links to that in the description too. So anybody that's interested can check it out. Um, were you always interested in politics, and what inspired you to start doing the show?
I was always interested in politics. I grew up in a political family. My parents were both very political and, part of the anti-war movement and all of that. I grew up protesting in the streets. I've always paid attention. I applauded during the Nixon resignation speech. Um, you know, that's always been an interest of mine. However, doing the What the Hell Just Happened vlog really came about because each day of the Trump administration was some new insanity. And it was very hard to deal with. I was starting to get Trump fatigue. And so I'd go like to the gym every morning and work out. And all the people in the gym that I ran into, I'd go, you know what the hell just happened yesterday? And they'd go, no, tell us. So I'd go into this diatribe about what fucked up thing had happened, in politics on any particular day. And I went, you know what? I'm going to stop bothering the people at the gym, and I'm just going to use some of my skills to put together these short videos, which hopefully most of the time at least are a little bit funny. And I could use some voice skills. I can use on-camera skills, whatever. And so that's kind of how it came about. It was just my way of trying to make sense of what seemed to be a horrible time in American politics, and just to be able to shout about it. And I didn't really care if anybody watched. I just,
It does. I could totally get that. Like needing, so the information was coming so fast. There's so, or not even information, but things would happen so fast. It wouldn't even have time to process what happened yesterday, or sometimes this morning before this afternoon. It was like, well, what the hell did he do now?
It's all about, people would say it was so much information coming out that no matter what happened that morning, by the time you got home, it was already a new subject, and it was, you couldn't keep up with it.
To make a project out of it where you're like, where you're, I guess, kind of putting the ducks in a row in a way where you could look at, okay, this is what's happening. That has to be cathartic.
All right, let me ask you this, because clearly we know, but it's kind of satire if we say it. So feel free to drill these points home. Could you talk about what goes into creating your own show and managing your own content?
Yeah, actually, so what I wanted to achieve, okay, let me make sure that I'm saying this the way I feel it. At first, I didn't give a shit, and I just wanted to say whatever I wanted to say. And I thought I could be funny doing it. And then as time went by, I sort of started to get a following, a little bit of a following. And I thought, okay, so this should be at least relevant in a more, gestalt sense, in a bigger picture sense. I should at least make this be about something about us as Americans today. And so I started to kind of get a little bit better, I think, at the writing, and it got shorter, and it became more to the point. It was less broad in terms of what I was approaching, and that's kind of been the evolution of what I've been doing. Is it's kind of gotten a little bit more brief and a little bit more pointed and a little bit more. I try to always be positive, because I don't like this idea that we're, the Bill Maher concept of we're all in a shithouse going down, and I don't think that. I think that America has a lot of promise, but it's up to us to fulfill that promise. So I would try to do like a positive story at the end of each one in the early days, and that's so. And then a part of doing it at home, and discovering green screens and discovering better mics, which I'm not using today because Zoom calls. Anyway. So getting a little bit more technically proficient, not a lot. Getting a little better camera, getting a little better lighting. And so eventually I thought, well, try to make it look good, try to make it sound good, try to make the content resonant, and still be happy, and still try to make the occasional joke that people will appreciate. And it feels good. So a funny thing happened on Facebook. I don't know if you guys experienced this either. All of a sudden, I started to get followers, and then the followers would follow the followers, and then more followers. Now, and I'm not saying at any level even close to what real, popular guys get, but I got more followers than I had friends on Facebook, and I was like, wow, this is blowing my mind. What are these people? Why do these people give a shit about my ranting and my pontificating? But it sort of changed the way I approached it, because I'm like, oh, now I got a guy from Canada, and there's somebody in South Carolina, and there's somebody here and somebody there, and I can't be, Bay Area specific. I can't be personally specific. It's got to be broader. So that's kind of what's come about as I've worked this thing through, and it's still fun. I'll do one. I'll leave the setup. No, I'll change the setup. I'll do one later today because I like doing it.
Speaking of lighting yourself and doing it, and we always see this, it's a camera trick, but we always know it because he wears glasses when I wear shades. Like, we see you working that ring light in the background, man. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Do you do the editing as well?
Yeah, although I try to keep it as minimal as possible. If I can do a single take and run it straight through, I'll do that. I try to make it more about the content than the look. Although you guys, I don't know if it's you, Durden, or Torian who rocks.
This is Edward Scissorhands himself. His hand, he cuts. He's the
as any the thing that an editor appreciates the most is a director who's also edited.
Right on.
Because keep it nice and as tight as possible and limit the work as much.
Nice and
neat. Yeah.
You guys rock that stuff. You're really good at it.
Thank you very much. I've been at it for a hot minute. I've turned down a lot of social
that was my one caveat to him when we talked about doing the show. I'll show up every day you need me. We can use my place, my studio, my equipment. I'm not editing. And I was like, I'm not. I'll do anything else. I'll get your food. I'll iron your clothes. I am not editing.
And stupid me was like, oh, yeah, no problem. So it would be like, we take 2 hours to shoot the episode. We take 4 hours to edit. 6 hours in and out. We got an episode in the can. It takes like 30 to 40 hours to edit an episode, and I should have known that. It's not my first rodeo.
It's not.
But you go into every one with this sense of naivety. It's the only way to jump in is to be a little bit naive about what you're getting into. Because if we knew how big the undertaking was,
you'd have never done it.
Yeah.
By the way, your Joker segment I thought was really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We thought we were going to go to war over that, but then we still wound up back at the same place. So we really try to take an obscure look at it. So thank you so much for that, because that's one of our favorite episodes. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
And you keep trying to shift the spotlight, so I'm going to turn it back this way and say,
he's been doing it since he started. He's flipped it on us. It's good.
I appreciate political commentary. I watch a lot of it. That's to my wife's frustration. I watch like Sam Cedar. I love Sam Cedar. I watch oh shit!
You're Rogan it out. You're Rogan your podcast. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's house. He's apolitical. But I love your content. I think you like you said, you got what's important in and out. It's tight. It's well lit.
And he tries to remain positive. Everybody on the internet is just flunking to just clickbait. Nope, that needs to be some good fucking content. And
that's an undertaking to remain positive in the world of politics. That's why when we created this show, we specifically it was kind of, we had like the adverse reaction to the reason why you started your show. We started this to escape all that. We are being bombarded by this information everywhere we look. We need we go to movies to escape. So let's just do a show. Let's just put something out there on the internet where people can come with us and escape for 2 hours.
And until we do Enemy of the State, we don't have to worry about politics.
But we're gonna get political. We're gonna break the rule, and the show is gonna get political for one quick question, and then I promise we'll be right back to movies. But what would you say are the 3 most important issues that are happening right now that people should be paying attention to?
I think the 3 most important issues in our time today is the actual decline of democracy. Sorry, see, the bell tolls.
Time's up.
See, that's it. Decline of democracy, and people, they think that this is a resilient state, and that we were born into democracy and will always be in democracy because that's where we are in America. It's not true, and it could decline and we could lose it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the prevalence of willful ignorance. And by that, I mean, like, and look, I don't want to piss off all of you QAnon followers. I love you guys. You're awesome.
You're hilarious.
But it's ignorant, and it's, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, a third of a certain group of people think the earth is flat. There's a lot of willful ignorance. People are not taking vaccines for the COVID-19 virus. Why? Okay. So that's number two, the prevalence of willful ignorance. Number three is, most important, is a feeling of powerlessness to do something about all that. We have the power. We are the power.
Mm-hmm.
This country, the people are the sovereign state, not anybody else. So that to me is like overwhelmingly the three most important things going on right now politically. Now let's leave that realm and talk about movies. Damn it.
Well, I just have a follow-up.
Oh no, you promised him that we would go right back. Well, you have to keep your promise.
They know I don't keep promises.
Okay. All right.
Well, you could be a politician then.
Oh, the willful ignorance thing is so true. Like I always find it funny. Like I even thought when I asked you, I've always been political. It's funny when people are like, "Oh, I don't like to think about politics." But I don't give a shit what you like to think about. The politics are happening. So, like you not thinking about it doesn't make it not happen. So it's affecting your, unless it affects me, everything political affects you. So, and the QAnon shit, I have a personal spite towards them because I'm an old school conspiracy theorist,
Right.
Bigfoot, aliens, and now the conspiracy theorist title has been just
usurped, taken from us.
Yeah.
So it's very frustrating.
But I like how he wrapped it up though, because again, we've heard the statement. This is how we said way back to the movies. Power to the people. Power to the people. Like he said, the people have the power. There it is. Boom.
Yeah, right?
Boom.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.